Hey guys, Wyatt here, and welcome to week 3 of the From Scratch module. So in this module, we're building out an entire authority site from scratch, as the name of the module would state. But in the first video, we went ahead and discovered a niche, right? Which was wrestling. We figured out that wrestling would be a pretty non-competitive niche to go into, and we'd be able to dominate it pretty quickly with an authority site. So from there, we took that niche and we started niching down, and we built an initial list of keywords to go after. In fact, we built a list of 5 initial keywords to go after. Then in week 2, we started building out the content and the first pages for those initial keywords. And we optimized the titles correctly, and we set the SEO titles and descriptions and all of that good stuff. So we built out the first bits of content on our website, authoritywrestling.com. We have our initial keywords, we optimized the site correctly. And in this week, week 3, we're gonna focus completely on SEO. So we're gonna start to build the first links, the first PBN links in this module. Okay, so these are the main links that we're going to build. Obviously, we could get into some social linking as well, but for this specific case study, specific module, we're going to be focusing just on PBN links because, once again, this niche is not too competitive, and without too many links, we should be able to go ahead and dominate this niche, right? So what I have here is the site pulled up, Authority Wrestling, and this has been resting for a little while, just about a week's time. And so all of this content has most likely been indexed, and we're ready to start building links. You don't have to let it sit that long. We did. It's not going to affect anything. It might even help us. So with that being said, you need to go ahead and start finding your first PBN domains. Now, in order to save time, I already picked up a PBN domain since we cover all of that training in the core training modules, right? So go ahead and find the right PBN domains that you want to start linking to your site with. Keep in mind, they don't have to be in the specific niche that you're looking for. For example, I didn't have to go out there and find PBN domains that were relevant to wrestling. What we're going to do is theme the PBN to wrestling before we link to our money site. That way, at least it's a little bit relevant. Obviously, the backlink profile of that expired domain is not going to be related to wrestling. But if you go ahead and find the domains the right way, where it's mostly just a branded domain, meaning they're just linking with the anchor text, the domain name or the brand name, then we can kind of turn that brand into anything we want. So let me go ahead and show you an example PBN site that I have here, which is nhacd.org. So the page authority is 49, domain authority is 39. This is a really high quality PBN site here, and the backlink profile is pretty much perfect. It's all just branded anchor text, right? So people might be linking to it with NHACD, or they might link with the actual domain name as the anchor text, nhacd.org, or they might link saying NHACD Association, and those are pretty much all of the different anchor text types in the backlink profile. So it's not really telling Google what this site's about, it's just branding this site, which is great. So when we start to take this PBN site and turn it into a wrestling site, Google, it's going to seem fairly natural because it's branded, but they don't really know what NHACD means, right? So the first thing that we're going to do, actually I should talk about hosting. So as far as hosting your PBN domains, there are tons of different options out there. Now, you may have heard of SEO hosting, shared hosting, and also different types of CDN like Cloudflare and stuff like that. So when do you use shared hosting? When do you use SEO hosting and all that good stuff? If you're going to be using SEO hosting, the first thing you want to keep in mind is that they should have not only just different C classes, but different A and B classes as well. And I'll show you what that means in just a second. But for this tutorial, I'm going to stick to shared hosting. Okay, so stuff like I'm really sorry about that fire detector, by the way. It's been driving me crazy. I should probably change the battery. So InMotion hosting is a shared hosting where you can host multiple domains here, and they'll be on different IPs with different A or B classes. So that way, Google won't really be able to put it together that it's all owned by one person. If you get SEO hosting where just the C class is different, meaning the third set of numbers, so it's the way an IP address looks, it's numbers, and then it's dot more numbers and dots more numbers, right? So if the C class is different, then just this third set of numbers will be different. And Google can kind of put that together and say, hey, the A and B classes are the exact same for all these sites that are linking to this money site. So, they're going to know something's up there, right? And it's not very natural. So if we go out there and get different hosting plans, shared hosting or whatever, where we can change up those A and B classes, then we'll be safe. So InMotion hosting is definitely a good option to go ahead and get some shared hosting. Also, MDD hosting is another shared hosting option. Host9 is an option that a lot of people use. And you can also get stuff, CDN like Cloudflare, and you can host on here as well. So I'm trying to think of a few different hosting options that you can use. So the main thing you want to keep in mind when you're hosting your PBN sites is you just want to worry about the IP address mainly and make sure that it's different than the IP address of your next PBN site, so that Google can't really put them together and say these are owned by the same person. Hopefully that makes sense. So another option would be Big Brain Global. And setting up hosting for your PBN sites, it's going to be very, very similar to setting up hosting for your money site, right? So we don't need to actually go ahead and cover that over the shoulder because it's really, really simple. One tip that I would give you though, for the email address that you're registering when you're setting up WordPress, make sure it's specific to that URL, meaning don't use the same email address. If I had Wyatt@Wyatt.com, you want to make sure you don't use that email address for each PBN site when you're setting up WordPress. Instead, do Wyatt at pbnsite.com, right? Whatever that URL is. Other than that, you should be pretty good. It's fairly simple to set up your PBN sites. As far as which registry to use, registering your PBN domains, sometimes you don't have a choice if you're winning them from auctions, but if you're just picking up drop domains, then just mix it up. Register some on a couple on GoDaddy, some on Namecheap, and just use all of poweryourname.com. Use all the different registries. And to even be safer, you can use fake name generator. And when you pay with PayPal on any of these domain name registries, they don't actually pass your information. So basically you can use fake name generator to generate a fake identification and fill this out on Namecheap or whatever, so the domain is registered under this fake name, and then pay with PayPal, and they won't pass your information, so you'll be safe there, and it will look like, in this case, Sean Gayton, whatever his name is, would be owning that domain. So just another safety tip there. So once you get that set up, you generate a fake name here, you go register the PBN domain that you found on a different registry, and then you set up your SEO hosting or your shared hosting or whatever type of hosting you want to set up for that domain so that they're all on unique plans or whatever, on unique IP addresses. Then you set up WordPress and you're at the point where I am at now, where I have this PBN domain with nothing on it. I just have WordPress installed with a random theme installed on here. So the first thing I'm going to do is jump over to settings, and we're going to set the site title and tagline. So here's where we can go ahead and theme this site to be more about wrestling. So I could say wrestling tips and techniques, and the tagline could be advice from the best, or advice from wrestlers to wrestlers, something like that. I don't know, but that doesn't really matter. The point is we're theming this to be about wrestling and wrestling moves. So we'll save those changes. And, well, as advanced as that is, don't overlook it. You know, it's very, very simple, but don't overlook how powerful that is. I mean, we just themed this site to be about wrestling tips and techniques. So now when we go put a post here about wrestling, this site is all about wrestling, okay? So let's go ahead and make that first post. So I'm gonna say, is wrestling right for you? And I just wrote this little short article here. Completely unique. I just wrote it myself about 5 minutes ago. So I'll paste that in here. And now we can go ahead and start to link to our money site, our authoritywrestling.com. And this will be the first link that we're building for this authority site. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to put 2 links to our money site in this post. Now, normally you won't do that. You'll just put 1 link or no links at all if you're just trying to put content on your PBN site. But I'm actually going to link twice to this authority site. First, I'm going to link to the homepage and brand our site with the anchor text Authority Wrestling. And then I'm going to link to a specific post on our authority site. And I'm also going to link to some other sites as well just to make it look natural. So I'm going to put an image in here too. So I'm going to type in collegiate wrestling. And we'll just take this image here. And we'll pop an image in. Okay. Not sure if that's working or not. Guess I'll try one more time. There we go. All right. So once we have that image in there, I'm actually going to go get a YouTube video as well, just because it can index faster if you go put a YouTube video on the post. So we'll say collegiate wrestling again. Best college wrestling match of all time. All right. So we'll get the embed code actually. And I'll put this on our PBN post. Check out this match. I will say. All right, perfect. Actually, all right, there we go. So now that we have that done, let's pop back over to visual. And now we have to put our links into this post. So like I said, I'm going to link to the homepage first. And I have a spot for this in the content. I'd recommend studying some different wrestling moves at Authority Wrestling before actually jumping into the action. So here is our brand name, Authority Wrestling, and that's going to be the anchor text. And I'm going to pop that link in there to our homepage, and boom, now we have that link set up to our homepage. We're starting to brand our site. We're telling Google this site, the brand is Authority Wrestling, okay? And like I said, I'm also going to link to another post. Normally you wouldn't do this. You can do it, but normally you would want to just link once to your money site. So wrestling moves that actually work at the collegiate wrestling level. So let's use this. Our keyword for this post is collegiate wrestling moves, but I'm gonna make the anchor text double leg takedown, as a collegiate wrestling move. So our keyword's in there, collegiate wrestling move, but it's a part of a bigger anchor text. So we'll pop that link in there. And now I want to link to some other big authority sites like Wikipedia. I'll just search collegiate wrestling. And we'll link to, actually even better than Wikipedia, ncaa.com. And we'll link to this, just your level of wrestling. So we'll highlight wrestling, make that the anchor text, and link to this NCAA post just to make it look more natural. And that's pretty much all we have to do here. So I'm going to publish this post. And we'll go over to the home page. And now you see that we have our post on the home page of the PBN site, and that's important. You want to make sure it goes on the home page. That's where all the link juice power is, because you picked up this expired domain. All the links are going to the home page. That's where all the power is. So make sure your post shows in full. So find the right theme so that the post shows in full on the home page. And we have our links to our authority wrestling site. So in the next video, in next week's video or module, whatever, so we'll be going more into depth in how you can go ahead and start to expand this authority site. But at that time, you might even see an increase in domain authority on this site or page authority because of these links that we're passing. It depends how long it will take, but you could see that increase in that short period of time. But just from those links, we might be able to rank this simple little post about collegiate wrestling just because these keywords that we went out there and piled a list of initially, well, they're not very competitive. Using the basic parameters that we laid out for you, these keywords won't be too hard to rank for. Now, I'll go ahead and start to build more links as well. You don't want to just build one link, but for the sake of this video, I don't want to waste too much time since the process is the same each time. I could build more links to new posts. I would link to the homepage a few more times, but you don't want to just build all the links in one sitting. Maybe build one link today, one link tomorrow, then wait a couple days and build one more link, just so it seems more natural and it's not just getting a bunch of links all in one period of time. So we start to build out these links, and we start to try to rank these first pages and build up the authority of our overall site. And so in next week, we'll start to expand, maybe branch out with some more keywords and build out more pages on our site. But that's pretty much all for this week. You want to set up your PBN sites, find hosting, and link with unique content on your PBN site to your money site, and start to build out those first links. So I'll see you guys next week.